Friends, this is Dr. Somnaththigale and welcome you to the Unit 8 Software Engineering, and the title is Managing Software Projects, Project Execution and Closure. So many of the points what we are going to discuss in this chapter might be covered in chapter number 5, 6 and 7. So the few points are from the previous chapters. So the whole chapter is divided into the two parts. First is managing the software project and second is execution and closure. So these are nothing but management activities. So plan the project, execute the project and project closure. Plan the project means manage the software project here. Execution means actual observations through monitoring and this progress. And the second part is about the project closure activities. So this project, the things we are going to cover inside this. So the first part of this chapter is process and project management. That part already we have covered, so will not waste much of time. If you need, you can prefer to my previous presentations for chapter number 5 part 1 part 2, chapter number 6 part 1 part 2, and again chapter number 7 part 1 part 2 for more details about the managing software projects and these are parts. So directly here we are going to start with customer communication. This part CMM and this part is covered in chapter number 5 as we said there. Then team structure chapter number 6, SCM part again chapter number 6. Now the most important part now from this chapter we are going to cover is customer communication and issue resolution. Now what is meaning of customer communication and issue resolution? So basically this is nothing but the one person who is responsible from the organization side is able to interact with the end user called as what, customers, and how they are going to, because end of the day who is going to pay the cost of your project? The customer. So we have to make sure that customer is 100% satisfied with the product what you are going to develop, and after development what you have deployed at a customer side. So for that there should be a proper communication so that your end user, your customer should be happy throughout the product development life cycle. So for that this customer communication and issue resolution plays an important role. So customers have a requirements for and expectations of what the producer means the organizations will provide and may communicate it them either in a highly structured fashion or in an informal way. So there should be a proper way how the end user and the customers are going to interact with each other. So maybe a formal way or informal way. Formal way means by the process, and informal way just involving it with the point to point organizations that we need to take into consideration. Second, we need to talk about the uh, proper system for that communications. For that we have to plan, develop and implement various strategies. So what could be a strategies? Like communicating with colleague and key spokespeople, making listening with answering inquiries from the media, individuals and other organizations via telephone, email, research, writing and distributing press release means the various newspapers, or maybe you have a special portals where you can send the progress of the project, company achievements like this. Then collating and analyzing media coverage, writing and editing in in-house magazines, case studies, speeches, articles, annual reports, maybe not annual reports but we can have a quarter reports also. Then we can prepare and supervise the productions of publicity brochures, that we can prepare various brochures, handouts means small. Then even we can take help of direct mailing concepts, direct mails, leaflets. We can prepare some promotional videos, photographs, films, multimedia programs, and that we can share with our end users so that end user can understand what the organization is and how they are progressing. Then organizing events where we can include press conferences, exhibitions, or sometimes we can have open days and press tours. So I would like to add one example here. Every year, Persistent, that is based in Pune, that organization gives a chance to involve all the family members of their employees on the occasion of Gudi Padwa, because that day is their foundation day. So they invite all their employees and allow them to come with the family, and they all come together and they express what the company is, what company has did in the previous year, how the progress is going on in financially, as well as in terms of technology, as well as in terms of portfolios and all the parts, and what will be their future, so that employees will be happy. If employees happy, means salary and these all the parts will be, they are getting regular, like this culture they want to express, so that they can focus more and more experts into their organizations. Next is maintaining and updating informations on the organization's website. So website should be updated time to time, updated and upgraded time to time. Managing and updating informations and engaging with users on social medias, might be have their official social media account from Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And one of the major important factors to engage the different end users, customers throughout the various organization is sourcing and managing speaking, sponsorships and opportunities, internship, etc. These are the strategies what the customer can engage through the organizations. And when we talk about the basic idea, who should able to interact, means customer is interacting with whom, because the organization is big, and to whom you are going to interact, there should be a proper way. And to form that proper way, we can say that one person should able to contact with that all the project related activity, and we have to decide that one person. So who is involved, who are the customer or customer representative, we need to identify. Also, what type of informations will be communicated and delivered, whether customer is a technical person, non-technical persons, and what you are going to tell them, that should be able to understood. Then how is the information communicated and delivered, policies, customer interface. So this type of things you might have seen when a patient is admitted in the ICU and doctors are interacting with their family members. So the first foremost important point the doctor clears from their side is, tell me the one person to whom I can tell the progress of the patient. Otherwise what happens, every relative or every family member comes and asks doctor, sir, what is the progress, what did, now how the patient is, and they conclude by their own side. So to solve these all the problems, doctor strictly says that tell me the one person name to whom I am going to interact, and rest of the parts is get communicated with that a one person only. So that is what the strategy that hospital decides. Similar in case of software we can have. Next, moving towards the point is reviews. So simply remember, review is nothing but also a one type of testing. So review means testing, simply verification and validation process. So we can check a program for quality by testing, but for checking design or documents requirements, we are using the concept of called as what, reviews. So reviews is nothing but verification, validation is nothing but the testing. So review gives a manager, suppose just take one simplest example, doctor checks the patients and gives some medicines, and that medicine is impacting to the patients or not, that is validations. And what doctor has given on paper, we just check which medicine doctor has given, that checking that medicine is just a review, nothing but verifications. Getting what I'm saying? So this is the simplest way to understand the difference, reviews and so review gives managers visibility into progress of project that can help to take timely corrective actions. So basic idea behind the review or the purpose, advantage of the review process are, review helps to prevent defects by creating more awareness program about them. Reviews helps preserve team motivation by giving people a sense of achievements. And this review has its own process. So basically remember, review can be taken in two styles. One is one-to-one review or in a group review. That group review also known as a panel review. So how we are going to carry the review, or simply to understand the review concept, you might have doing your mini projects, major projects, and you have allocated a guide. So guide asks you the status of the project. Okay, what you did about your project, and that what he is asking you the status of project, and based on that you are giving the answers. That process nothing but simply review, but that review is one to one review. And suppose today department has decided to have a proper schedule, and they ask you to come all the team members with the presentations, and in front of all the students and all the staffs you are giving the presentation what you did in the project and what you are going to do in the project. That is again a review process, but that review as a called as a group review or panel review. So to carry out this review we have to have a proper process named as a review process. So let's focus on the review process. So reviews can be done in many different ways. Basic review process is a group review, that what we have seen. So group review is an analysis of software process on a work product by group of people following clearly defined process that should be get defined well in advance. So goal of such reviews are to improve the quality by finding defects. So purpose behind the review is finding out defects, not execution of the project, but by presenting the project possible defects from the project and alternatives, so that in an optimal way you can do your project. So in addition to the reviews provide inputs, visibility for the project management into quality of the work product. So group review is conducted by technical people with focus on identifying process. Simply remember, focus is on identifying the process, not resolving them. Means they are just trying to find out the ways to perform the product development. How that part will be different. So the group reviews include several stages. That review process has simply 4 steps. First is planning, second is preparation and overview, third is group review meeting, actual meeting, and fourth is review and follow up. And these stages, all whatever the 4 stages I said right now, that is planning, preparation and overview, group review meeting, and rework and follow up, is executed in a linear order and represented in one diagram. So simply remember the diagram. The diagram is work product for review, planning, preparations. Second is schedule and review team. Third is cell preparation logs. Fourth is defect log recommendations. So every actions here, if you say, has an input and output process. So we need to think about that. So let's talk about the first part, planning. In planning, what we are going to do. So objective of the planning phase is to prepare group and schedule for review. So author of the work product ensures work product is ready for the review. Project manager with author's agreement first select moderator, then with the moderator's agreement project manager selects other reviewers. So moderator has overall responsibility of ensuring review is done properly and all steps are followed. Reviewers have a responsibility of identifying defects in the work product. Once review team is selected, author prepares a package that is distributed for group review. Package includes work product to be reviewed, its specification, relevant checklist, specifications for product are the outputs of proceeding phases and are needed to check correctness of the work product. So planning plays an important role. Suppose we'll take an example, and day after tomorrow the project coordinator has sent a notice to all the group members of our class stating that you have to have a presentations. So on a day after tomorrow on a particular time slot. So now what you will do, you have a group 4 or 5 members in your project. One of that group is playing a role as a team leader. So now team leader makes sure that my slides are ready, my presentation, which part who is going to give, how much time he is going to take, what we are going to represent, everything has to be get prepared from your side as a presenter. Second, as a organizer, that your project coordinator has to make sure that there should be a power slide presentation student has to bring, and to show that power slide presentations I need to have a screen, I need to have a projector, I need to have a screen. Then this all infrastructure is ready. After that, who is going to evaluate it, who is going to review, I have to decide the team for the review. One as a reviewer, rest of the parts as a team members to that reviewer. This all the process we are calling as a reviewer. Second is preparation and review. Overview is what has to take into consideration. So purpose of this phase is to deliver the package for the reviewer to reviewers and explain the work product. So how we are going to take the review, which will be decided inside the second phase, preparation and review. So material is distributed and explained. So they will share one sheet. In that sheet they are expecting the presentation slides are ready or not. Second, diagrams, how many diagrams you have covered, like UML diagram, data flow diagram are there or not, whether you are done the feasibility study, then the comparative or not, expected date, end date, all the parts they are going to validate through this overview and preparations review process. Now the third phase is actual review. So we are calling as a group review simply, where we need to focus on. So basic purpose of group review meeting is to come up with the final defect list. Before meeting is scheduled, moderator checks whether all the reviewers are ready or not. Verification, it involves brief examination of the effort and defect data in cell preparation log to confirm that sufficient time and attention have been given into the preparation. In meeting, there is a discussion on issues raised. At the end of the meeting, the list of the defect is presented and it undergoes final review by various team members. Purpose of the group is to identify defects, not to solve the defects. Remember, the discussion what they will carry out is to find out possible problems, errors, not how to solve that errors. That is what the review. Only verification process, validation not. If many modifications are required, then they will schedule a follow-up meeting, whether that implementation possible or not, or a review meeting might be necessary to verify changes. Suppose in meeting they find out 5 problems and then they have given suppose 2 to 3 days time to correct that problems and then come up with the corrected. So that is what we need the next phase called as what, rework and follow up. So author performs rework to correct all the defects raised during the group review meetings. Author reviews corrections with the moderators, and reviewers ensures that group review report and minutes of meetings are communicated to the group review teams. After all the issues are done, defects are closed, moderator ensures that the group review result and data are recorded, and group review summary form is sent to software engineering project group, that is SEPG, and the project part. So this is what your group review process. So simply remember, this group review process takes place in the 4 phases. First is a planning, second is a preparation, third is actual review, and fourth is review and follow up. So kindly go through this all the slides what we have discussed right now. Now we will focus on the next part called as what, review types. That is what right now what we have discussed is a group review. Next part is one person review, that is one-to-one review. It is and in addition, arranging group review meeting is somewhat complex. So in some situations, one person review may be an appropriate. One person review are formal reviews and less costly than group reviews. Process of one person review is similar to group review process, but here author with the project leader identifies the reviewer, schedule, and reviewer receives a review package. Reviews the work product and prepares meeting with the author of work product. A review meeting has only 2 participants. One is the author and second is the reviewer. Author means here presenter. They are going to give the presentation what they have done, and one has to, there should be observer. So during this meeting, logs and defects are generated. Log means problems. During meeting issue, log and defects are managed and previous if any done, and review informs project leader when the review is finished. So outcome of this all reviews, maybe group review or one person review, is defects called as what, data. So the next part of the chapter is data collection. Data collection during review is crucial. Reviews are means data collection means that reviewer or the person who is sitting to observe you has given some suggestions to you, and you have to note down that suggestions as a presenter. That suggestions what you have recorded is called as what? Data selection. Simply remember this. So data collection during review is crucial. Reviews are largely human process. If data are not properly recorded, information may be lost. Means they have suggested few lines to you, and you have just listened and said okay, okay, okay. They said 7 to 8 points to you, but you have, at the end you could able to understand only 5. So you have lost that two suggestions, that two important suggestions, which may create a problem. So we have to manage that suggestions in a proper way, and managing that suggestions in a proper way, that process is data collection. So we can use a standard forms. So what are that standard forms? Known as a self preparation log. So reviewers use the self preparation log to record all defects or issues found during the independent. Efforts spent during the review is also recorded. Each reviewer prepares this separate log, and the form for preparation is very simple one. This, what the problem they have identified, product name, location, description, all the points. This is what one person review, and similar we can have group review log also. This is what the group review log. Is it clear? Okay. The more details of the same are present on my blog as well as on my lectures. Next, defect analysis and prevention. Now after performing the login, you find out some problems. The problems we are calling as what? Defects. So we have to understand the defects, and based on that we have to take a corrective actions. So that process we are calling defect analysis and prevention. So defect prevention aims to learn from the defect found so far and prevent defects in the rest of the project. So defect prevention activities are done twice in the project. Once when about 20% of models have been coded and unit tested, and when 50% models have been coded and unit tested. So basic main task of the defect prevention is to perform the Pareto analysis. Simply remember this Pareto analysis. So this Pareto analysis is nothing but named as 80-20 rule. So what does this 80-20 rule means? 80% of the problems comes from the 20% source. Means 80% of the defects found in 20% of the code. So number of defects found of the different type is computed from defect data and is plotted as bar chart in decreasing order. So we are going to represent this whatever the defects we find. Simply remember one example in Marathi is हत्ती गेला शेपूट राहिलं. पण ते शेपूट राहिलेलं आहे ते घालवायला आपल्याला जेवढा हत्तीला एफर्ट्स लागले तेवढेच त्याला लागतात. म्हणजे काय आहे तर 80% काम झाले, राहिले आता 20% काम. पण ते 20% काम करायला आपल्याला 80% काम करायला जेवढे एफर्ट्स लागले तेवढेच एफर्ट्स लागतात. सॉरी फॉर द मराठी, बट इट्स अ सिम्पलेस्ट वे टू remember. So we are calling it as what? Performing Pareto analysis. Now this Pareto analysis can be represented in one simple chart called as what? Pareto graph. So this is what the Pareto graph. How this graph is generated? Simple rule. Number of defects found of different types. वेगवेगळ्या defects म्हणजे we are going to discuss, we are to analyze different types of problems. So that problems are named as defects. So what are the different types of defects we have to identify first? Like this logical defects, user interface defects, standards, design issues, boundary conditions, consistency. We have to find out these all, versus we have to represent it in decreasing order along with the charts on the same graph by mentioning the percentage. So list all the defects identified so far, calculate total number of defects by type, sort defect by type in descending order of number of defects, calculate the percentage of each defect type with respect to total number of defects, identify defect type that is cause for about 80% of total defects. So we are calling it as one Pareto charts. And based on this Pareto charts we can perform now causal analysis, and that causal analysis is nothing but representing it in one more diagram called as what? Fishbone diagram, or there is one scientist called as what? Ishikawa. So on behalf of his name, this is also known as Ishikawa diagrams, and mostly it is known as fishbone diagram or cause effect diagram. So what this diagram is, as the name suggests, if you look towards the diagram, it is similar to the fish bone. The name scientist Ishikawa, so who has invented this concept known as Ishikawa diagram, and this talks about the simply cause effect diagram. So it is known as causes and effect diagram. So here defects are defects means problems are treated as effects. Main purpose of this cause effect diagram is to graphically represent a relationship between an effect with its various possible causes. So first step in building the cause effect diagram is to identify effect to be analyzed. Next is we will simply follow some steps to draw this cause effect or fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. Clearly define the problems to be studied. Draw an arrow from left to right with a box containing the effect drawn at the head. This is the backbone of the diagrams. Effects at the right side. Determine the major categories of the causes. These could be standard categories. Write these categories in the box and connect them with the diagonal arrows to the backbone. Brainstorm for the sub causes of major causes by asking repeatedly for each major cause. Why does major cause produce the effect? And add these sub causes to the diagram clustered around the bone of major cause, and if necessary further subdivide these causes to prepare this diagram. So simply what I am telling at this moment is, you have a problems, that keep the problems at the right hand side and make one line from right hand to the, means simply draw one line, and for each line what the problem you have, ask the question why this problem is, then reach to the root cause of the problem. So simply asking the question why. So suppose I got 55 marks in one subject, so I will ask why 55. The first is maybe the possibility paper not covered. Second is I have not prepared properly. So these all nothing but the causes with my results. So this is nothing but simply we are calling effect and cause. The effect is 55% mark, and the cause is, might be one cause is not prepared properly, one cause is the question paper is not covered. So simply asking the question why is repeated till all the root causes have been identified. That is cause for which asking a question as simply why. So when all causes are marked in the diagram, the final picture look like a fishbone structure, and hence the cause effect diagram is also called as fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram after the name of its inventors. So next, moving towards the next bit of this called process monitoring and auditing. So this process monitoring and auditing means you have planned the things and you have executed based on the plan, whether each and everything has been executed as per the plan or not. We have to perform the audit. Audit means simply normally what happens in bank sector, you might have used this word audit. So after every quarter they have to take the audit, and who performs the audit? Third party, not from the banking side, might be a CA, financial advisor. They come and they checks each and everything whether is it as per the rule or not. If it is not as per the rule, they give some kind of a suggestion, changes to this. So we are calling this process as process monitoring and auditing. So the benefit behind this this monitoring and audit process is to make more and more quality. So how we can conduct this audits? Like this, as a subject in charge I am teaching something to you, and at the end I said I have done with my syllabus, but whether I did my 100% syllabus or not will be checked by my higher authorities, might be CC or might be by head of the department. So they are nothing but they are conducting the audits, because you and me did the work, whether whatever work we did is just up to the standard process or not. It is up to the 100% satisfaction to the you or not. So for that they are conducting that audits by monitoring and performing audits. So this slides are self-explanatory. You can kindly go through this process, and outcome of this monitoring and audit process is lots of problems. Then they will call me that you said that you have completed the syllabus, but students are saying this points are remaining. So they are taking follow actions. The last bit of the chapter is follow up actions. So these steps are called as the corrective actions. So you can kindly go through this. So that's all from my side. If any doubt, any query, you can read more videos, watch more videos, you can read my PPTs, you can read my notes which are available on my blog, that is somnaththigale.blogspot.com. You can contact to me for any query on my personal as well as on my official mail. You can watch things. Thank you. Have a great day.